we all need to take responsibility for making sure each other is okay. When you notice that somebody isn't themselves, I think you should take that responsibility to identify that, acknowledge that, and do what you feel that you're comfortable doing.
I've always lived in certain situations which is not at the best, and I always try and get a positive out of everything that I do. I look for a positive. I try not to dwell on the negative.
I always find I'm a bit wiser now that I'm older as well. I didn't used to cope too well when I was younger. Back in my 20s, I was a lot more emotional, I'd say, but now I'm a lot more grounded and down to earth. I can sit and think about things more rationally, especially when I'm alone. So if I'm presented with something that's a bit of a challenge, just taking the time to sit and think about it for a little bit helps, rather than reacting quickly to it in a negative way.
I'm quite bubbly and I'm quite outgoing, and people wouldn't think that I've been in the Healthy Minds programme. Nobody would have a clue, because they think, God, she's really bubbly, she's really out there. But sometimes behind those bubbly people, there's something that's always gone on in her life. Nobody's life's perfect.
Learn from these experiences and pick a positive of every bit of it and try and push. Not worry so much about the negative, because sometimes they're minor, but if you overthink them, then they become major issues because they take over your life. Maybe by the time you've spoken about it, you've already found the resolution yourself, because you're putting it into words rather than keeping it inside.
Just by giving me these little challenges and these goals to get me back to how I was before all this has really helped me mentally, and it's really sort of stabilised my state of mind.
You know, you can do your meditation, you can do your mindfulness and everything else that gives you that free space, but what you've got to do is to own it, to really recognise it, and then that will then hopefully give you the way to move forward a bit further.
For me, a good manager is someone who listens. It doesn't matter if you've got experience in that team. It doesn't matter if you've ever done that job before. If you are somebody who can listen and empathise and really appreciate that everyone in your team is an individual, then that makes you a good manager.
So 5 minutes, want to have a chat? Yeah. Everything okay? Kids all right? So you open an avenue for them if they need to talk, but make them aware that you are there if they need to have a conversation. Even though you're busy, you will take 5 minutes out of the day or whatever time to help those people.
Be a bit more sort of understanding and accepting of different people's different behaviours and the way people are, basically.
Talk to people about your own experiences, but also let them talk to you. Be a good listener, getting to know them as a person. You know, opening yourself up a bit, and that's what my manager does. And I think that's where you've got that, to have that mutual respect for each other.
What gives me hope? Life. I love life. I like to plan ahead, live at the moment. Holidays, the sun, the beach. I just love looking forwards. And I just think that there's hope. You know, when you see some people come out the other end of things, that there is hope there, that we can get the right support for people, and we're still pushing